Hey guys, welcome back. It's your favorite Gimp with a Limp, and I am here with the next part of Sherman Leader for you guys. We're going to dig into the combat section of this game and cover a few more things that we didn't get into in part one. We're going to get into the definitely the exciting part that I know you guys have been looking forward to. Just FYI, if you're wanting to be entered for a chance for the game giveaway this month, comments on this video will count, but remember, it's only one entry per person. So if your comments, if you already commented on the previous video, commenting on this video isn't going to do any extra good for you. But I've already got another game lined up for next month for you guys. So if you don't win this month, make sure to stay tuned for your chance to win next month. Just my way of thanking you guys for all the support you guys have thrown me. I definitely really appreciate it. So let's take and get started at this. First video, we went over our campaign setup, start of the week and pre-combat phases, and got ourselves to this part of the game here. I did already place my units out. Now I moved them around a little bit because I wasn't paying attention to 4A. I'll pop it on the screen for you guys. Down there at the bottom it says friendly units cannot attack on turn 1. Ouch. So none of my guys are going to be able to attack, so I really am just going to be needing to be defensive as far as this game is concerned. For the first turn, they're going to be moving up on me, and they're going to hit me twice before I get to hit them once. So I wanted my infantry in the best cover they could possibly be in. It's the heaviest cover, and this low terrain here, not this one over to the left, but this one will provide a line of sight block for them here, so it'll possibly slow down some of the attacks from the farther back armored units back there as they push up. I am warning my infantry though to basically eat as much of this oncoming fire as possible, because they are the lowest SO point cost and I can afford to lose them and possibly have to replace them. Not so much with my tanks. I'm going to push right with the tanks though, hopefully to hold this lower ground over here and let my half-track take and eat the shots after it's moved ATG into its position to fire at the oncoming German units. We'll just have to kind of play that by ear and see how things go. Alright, so let's get started at it. We do our fast-moving attack is our first thing that we're going to do. Actually, I'll tell you what, since I didn't do this last video, I started but didn't complete it. I want to go over the units real quick, so when I'm in the game itself, just in case you're curious about any of the stats, you'll know what they are, and I'll still have them on the screen for you guys. So look up in your left corner, the M3 Grant. I started to talk about this and I got sidetracked talking about something else. The stats on the card, okay, we already went over, you know, its counter number, the SO cost, and its year. The things I didn't touch on is, you see on the left side, it's an armor designation. That's just the type of unit it is. But to the right of that, it says AP, and it's got it in a circle. All right, that's the type of unit it is. It's an armored unit. Now, if you look to your bottom right, each of the units is going to have an AP attack and an HE attack. Now, some units won't have that. For example, my half-track does not have an AP attack. It only has an HE attack. When you're attacking different types of units, whether it's the enemy attacking me or me attacking the enemy, you're going to attack with the rating of whatever it is against that. So if the Germans were attacking this tank, they would use their AP rating. If I were attacking one of their tanks, I would use my AP rating. If I'm attacking their infantry, I'd use my HE rating. So that AP or HE circle there in the upper left will show you what type of unit this is. It's also color-coded. Black is AP, red is for HE. Down at the bottom center, it shows you any special rules when it comes to the unit. This one, -1 attack when moving. Most units have that I've found so far. Bottom left, speed is how many hexes it can move. Speed 1 on this M3 means it can move 1 hex each turn. Defense 2 is the number that you have to roll equal to or less than to block an attack. and you get to add your cover values to that. So if this tank is just out in the open, if you take a hit, you're going to roll a die, and if you get a 2 or a 1, hey, no damage. Lucky for you. 20% chance not to take damage with this guy. Not great, but hey, it's better than nothing. Get him into cover though. Low cover is going to be a defensive 3, and high cover usually is impassable to armor, so he can get his defense up to 3, so that helps. On your right side, your AP attack, HE attack, and your range. That is the number that you need to roll equal to or higher to gain a hit when you're attacking. It's going to be the same for the enemy. They need to roll equal to or higher to gain their hit. And your range is, again, how many hexes. If it's 0, it counts as the hex that you're in, and you just count away from it. So 0, 1, 2, 3, and on down the line. There are modifiers that are going to adjust it depending on how many hexes away it is. There's negative modifiers if you're multiple hexes away, and then there is a positive modifier if you're at range 0 from somebody. You guys will definitely see that when we get into the game itself. Now there are units, for example, this MI or M1. Is this an M1? Hey, maybe we found an M1. M1 ATG, the 57 mil. You can tell is an HE, so you're going to use the HE stat when rolling against this piece of equipment. It has a range of 1 to 3, so it cannot attack in its own hex. It can only attack at hexes farther away than it is. Something to keep in mind. Now, the stats will be different for all your units, but it's going to be, that explains what all those numbers are. Now let's grab up a enemy counter here real quick. I'll put one on the screen for you guys. This is an enemy rifle unit. Now in the top left, that number 1 is its, think of it's like SO cost. That's its point value. So this is the number you need to keep track of the enemy that's on the board on our battalion card that we're going at right now. When we reduce the amount of enemies on the board to 9, then it's going to be reduced to half. When we reduce it down to 4, they're going to be destroyed. And some enemies are going to be worth, higher points than others. Those Panzer 3s are worth 3 points versus this rifle company that's only worth 1 point. Now, when you look to the right of that, you see 0, 8, 1, and 5. Those numbers have to do with its AP and HE attacks. Its AP is listed down first, its HE is second. This rifle company can attack at range 0 with an AP of 8 or higher, so it would have to roll 8, 9, or 10 to hit, depending on modifiers. And its HE, it can have a range up to 1, and it has a 5 or better, so it's pretty good. Down at the bottom right is its defensive value. It has a defensive 3, and if you see it's got a red square around that, that indicates what type of unit it is. This unit will be an HE unit. So you're going to have to use your HE attack values to attack this. If it's got a black square around it, you're going to use your AP values. Now, as one more little example to keep in mind, this Panzer 3, when you're looking at its top, you see just 4, 2, 5. All right, so you're going, hey, well, where's the range for the AP? If it only has one range value listed there, then that means that range is applicable to both AP and HE attacks. Just to save some clutter on the counter would be my guess. And you can see there in the bottom right how it has a black square around its defensive value, which is 3. So that shows us, oh, well, let me put this up here real quick just so you guys can see that as well. The truck, it's a crappy little 1 defense, only worth 1 point. But you see it's got the dash next to its 1 and then 8 up there in the top right. That dash means that it has no AP attack. It simply probably has a machine gun, and that's it. Its only attack. So it can only attack HE targets. Its weapon won't do any damage to AP targets. So that covers our units. Again, while we're playing through this match, I'll take and I'll pop up the units that are doing the attack and being attacked on the screen so you guys can see it. Now, we've got our, for combat, our first step is going to be our fast moving attack. Don't have to worry about that for us because I don't have any fast movers. It's slow all the way across the board. So we can go right for our roll for any enemy move. So let me take and pan the camera over here real quick to the enemy tactical movement table and cover a couple of things concerning that real quick. Alright, so this is our enemy tactical movement. When you're taking and you get to the roll for enemy move step, this is what you're going to be figuring out at this point. Here across the top of it, it lists down the type of units, so tanks, AT, armored car here on the left, and then you've got rifles, half-trucks, machine guns, and then truck, mortar, and AT guns here on the right. So whatever type of the unit it is, it's going to follow that order that's listed down under its column. And if you guys remember, I'm going to pop it up here on the left for you, your campaign card, at the top of it, right there where the picture is, you see it says 1 to 8, D6, 9 to 10, D10. That is the enemy tactical movement aggression table, basically. So at the start of our combat, we're going to roll 1d10, and depending on where we roll is going to determine how aggressive our opponents are going to be this match. If we roll a 1 to 8, then we're only going to roll a 1d6 here, and they'll only be up here to the 6 in our match. If, however, we get a 9 or 10, then they're much more likely to have some of these harder hitting attacks and movement orders. So let's take and do that real quick. I'll do that, see what we get. Hey, what do you know? We got a 3. So when we roll, we're just going to be using our little handy dandy D6. And when we do roll, let's just take and do that real quick. I don't need to pan the camera back over for you. This one little roll, we'll see what their first move is going to be. All right, 4. So we're going to pan that down, and then you put your marker there, your little tactical move marker, and it's going to show us that tanks and AT and armored cars are going to advance to cover, rifles advance to cover, and truck, mortar, and AT guns are going to hold. So it just gives us our orders for each one of them. All right, let me pan the camera back to the map, and we will get started. All right, we're back here at the map, and we're ready to get going here. I've got the dice tower here on the left. I just moved some of the cards out of the way so you guys can see what the rolls are here on the left. Now, we've got advance to cover, advance cover. I'm assuming that's supposed to be advance to cover on the tactical movement, and then hold order, okay? So I'm just going to start on the left here, start moving these guys down. Advance to cover, they're moving towards the closest units of mine. This armored car is also going to advance to cover. Now, this tank and armored car here in the back, they're not going to move because there is no cover adjacent to them. So since they can advance to no cover, they will just hold there. These 2 trucks have a hold order, so they're not going to move. And these 2 machine guns are advancing to cover, as is this tank. If I'm not knocking my board around. I hate it. Like when I was playing Fallout here recently, I've got to have all the tiles as tight as possible. My original thought was to take and get these guys over here into this cover, but I'm thinking now I might just hold them back behind it for 1 turn and then move into it. That way it'll block off some line of sight. But anyway, we'll get to that on the following turn. Now, they've all moved. And for me, I know any of you guys who have watched me before see me use my little yellow beads. I'm probably going to use them again for this just to make sure I keep track of which ones I've done. You can activate the enemy in any order you wish. I kind of find it's easy for me to kind of work left to right. These guys are going to attack first, the rifle teams, and they're going to fire at one of my 2 guys down here, 901 or 912. Now, if you look, they do have different defensive values. 912, my anti-tank team, has a defensive value of 2, while my rifle team has a defensive value of 3. Now they're adding 2 to that for the heavy cover, so it's effectively 4 and 5. So they're both going to fire at 912, which is my anti-tank team, because it's the one that they had the best chance to hit. And they're going to use their HE value, which is a 5. So with them using that, and they're at range 1, there is no penalty for them for doing that. Let's see, enemy move and attack penalty for these guys, MG is -2. And just making sure my range, this is all on that tactical sheet I've got here on the left. It's all written down here on the left side. Very easy to keep track of. A nice little summary of the tactical movement and, you know, cover and range penalties, things of that nature. So they're getting a -2 for the enemy move attack penalty. All right, and they're firing at range 1, so there's no range penalty, and my guys have a +2 defense. Okay, so this effectively means they need to roll a 7 or higher to hit, and my guy has a defense of 4. So let's get the attack started. We'll attack with this leftmost one first, see how he does. Roll our little dice here. Each time someone attacks, they're going to roll 2 dice, which seems to be flat across the board. All right, that is not good for them. First attack is a whiff, a 2 and a 4, so we will mark him as spent. But remember, they're going to get to do this again before I get to go, so this is not good for me. Second guy, attacking, same thing, 9-12. And he got 1 hit. He got a 9, so he did get 1 hit, so I have to roll 1d10. And I'm looking for a 4 or under to block this hit. Otherwise, I have to draw a damage check. So come on, come on. 1, 2, 3, or 4. 3! That's right, big dog. That looks like it's coming through in the camera. I wonder if these D10s show up a little better. I'm going to try these D10s, see if they show up in the camera a little bit, because I'm afraid the light's kind of blurring out the dice, but these look like they show up a little better for you guys. Okay, so because my defensive roll was less than his defense, which was 4 with the heavy cover, no damage was done. So bam, bam, they're good. Now our next guy is going to be this armored car. Now if you look here, this is blocking terrain on the left, but he's got open terrain on the right. And I play it just like I would any other war game, that if it's along the hex side here, you know, it's got a clear hex here, and we're just drawing right down the line, that he does have a line of fire onto him. He's going to fire on 9-12 as well. And let's see, the move attack penalty for a armored car is 1, and his attack rating is a 6. He has a range of 3, but he's firing at range 2. That's going to give him another -1. Okay, so he's effectively getting a -2 against him. So he has to roll an 8 or better to hit. And again, my defense is going to be the same. So let's see what we get here. All right, 5 and 7. Yeah, those look like they show up a little better in camera. I don't know, neither are showing up perfect. I can't really decide on which one to go with. I don't know. Okay, I'm thinking these will do better, so I'm going to stick with the blue and the white. We'll hope for the best. I hope that shows up well for you guys. If not, I might be able to adjust it in the editing. Okay, so armored car whiffed. He's not in range. They didn't move. They have no one in range. Blocked line of sight. They don't have range. This tank is going to have range to these guys, though. So 1, 2, 3. He is at range 3. The Panzer 3. And what is he going to fire at? He's going to fire at my light armor. Yep, he's going to fire at my half-track. Hopefully he won't do a whole lot of damage to it. His move attack penalty is a -1, and the range penalty at range 3 is -3. So with his AP rating of 4... Oh, wait, never mind. I almost screwed myself over there. I misread it. His range is not a 3, it's a 2. So 1, 2, out of range, no need to attack. Bam. So just like that, first turn is done. Let me take my gorgeous little beads off. I use them for every game. I love these things because they just fit in the tweezers so easy. They fit every counter without having to weigh them down. All right, so we're going on to turn 2. Well, am I going to move anything? Yeah, I am going to move. I can't attack, but I can move. So I want to take... Do I move him there? Yeah, I'm going to move here to try to... Well, that's my thing. I'm thinking I almost hang back because if they get another advance order, then they're going to move into this cover. And I just be putting them at a closer range to me. It might be better for me to just hang back and plink away at them, at these guys, because more than likely my guess is they're going to move into this cover. And if I move up here like was my original plan, then I'm going to be at close range. They're not going to have any penalties against them firing at me. Yeah, I'm going to run the risk of hanging tight and trying to hold here. My infantry are definitely going to hold because this heavy cover is what's saving their butts right now. And yeah, no one took any damage. So yeah, my guys are just going to hold. We're going to kick it up to turn 2, and this time I'm going to get to attack. Now, like I said, we're going to roll a d6 again for our enemy movement. 4. You gotta be kidding me. It came out of the same thing. So this is what I was talking about. They're going to advance to cover. So advance to cover. I got to just pick up the counters. I keep knocking the little tiles doing that. They advance to cover. He advances to cover. They're again stuck. So this is actually working out pretty good for me because one of their tanks and armored cars are back here. So if I can take and focus fire down these guys, because now I have a range of fire on them and these guys, I'll be able to take and just burn down their last group of guys. But see, this is what I was talking about. Had I moved up here, they would have no range penalty, but at least they'll have a move and a range penalty against my guys down here on this turn, or this tank will. Okay, so they've moved and they're going to attack, and it's going to be the same thing. They're going to be attacking my AT team since they had the lowest defense of 4. Again, rifle team. Now, they move, so they're going to get their movement penalty, which is a -2, but they're gaining their range penalty because it says range modification when attacking. You gain equals your move and attack penalty at range 0. So effectively it wipes itself because they're at range 0. They lose 2 and they gain 2. So we'll take and just roll off. It's going to be a 5 or better for them to hit my 9-12 guys, and basically it's 4 attacks against them. I am not expecting to come out too well off of this. Oh, ooh, 2 hits. Okay, so that's not good. All right, let's take and mark him as done so I don't forget, and hope for 1, 2, or 3, or 4. Okay, I blocked one of them, so I'm going to take 1 damage, and I got my little bowl here. I'm wanting to exchange this out for a wooden bowl. I know there was a Kickstarter for some wooden bowls here recently, but they were kind of expensive. I did find a decent set of like rice bowls on Amazon that I'm probably going to order next month that I just think will be nicer than this chintzy little plastic bowl here. All right, so I draw 1 counter, and I'm going to take and look at the camouflage side for my HE guy. It's 1 stress. So I will take and put 1 stress counter on the AT team commander there, and I'll toss that back in there. So second attack is going to come from the rifle team onto my AT team as well. Let's roll here. All right, he only hit with 1. I can deal with that. And come on. 1, 2, 3, or 4. I'm actually doing not too bad here. Let's see. I got to start wiping some of their guys off the board, though. No, it's a 5. All right, so I have to draw myself another chit. And see what we get here. Look away, Gimpy. Look away. Hope for the best. And we got our... Look at that shit. My guy's going to get stressed all to hell before I even get started here. I mean, it's not as bad as it could be. When I was playing earlier, I pulled Commander KIA like right off the bat. So, and unfortunately, I just remembered. I told you guys in video 1 that I was going to forget about this. The add 1 attack to attack rolls against US armor and light armor. I just remember that shit. So, yeah, my tanks are in for a world of hurt down here. Maybe I should have brought more infantry. AT car against these guys, and he's not going to gain his movement penalty because he is at range 1. So his movement penalty is -1. So again, he needs a 7 or better to hit. Let's take and roll this. He got 1 hit, got a 10. So again, I'm looking for a 4 or under. Come on, baby. We can do this. 8. Nope, that's 4 or double. Alright, so again, we're going to draw ourselves another chit here. And see what we get. No whammy, no whammy, no whammy, no whammy, no whammy. And it's whammy. Alright, so commander wounded. If I draw another commander wounded, it will kill him. So we cannot afford to have that happen. Mark him as done. None of these guys have a range attack. They're all blocked on line of sight and they're still stuck back there. These guys only have a range of 1, so they can't hit anything. This tank does have a range though, and he's going to fire at the half track because it's the lowest defense of everything. Well, actually, the defense of the Stuarts as well. My M3 Stuarts is a defense of 1, but I would rather him fire at the half track. And when it's the same like that, you get to choose. So he's going to fire here, range of 2, and he moved. So his movement penalty is -1, range penalty is -1, half track is AP. So he's gonna, with his stats, he needs a 6 or better to hit. Oh, that's still pretty good on this. So let's take and roll that. My defense is 1, so if he hits, there's a damn good chance he's putting hurt through. All right, he actually missed with 1. That's good because of that range penalty. So I had only a 1 will save me from drawing another chit. And it's a 5. Nope. Drawing another one. But at least that was the last of their attacks, and I can actually start putting some rounds down range on these guys. But now I have to wonder, do I take, and you gotta be kidding me. I think I just lost it. Oh, not cool. Let me take and look, because I don't remember the effects of explosion right off the top of my head. Make sure I do this right. Where's it at? I think Dan reached out through the DVG Karma and got me for picking on him. Destroy the unit, KI the commander, and remove them from the campaign. Remove the counter to the gut. Damn it! Son of a crap. Keep it PG, Gimpy. It's alright. Everybody just watched you lose your half track in one go, and the commander, he was green. I'd like to take a moment of silence for Mr. Green Farrell here, light armor commander. He was blown apart by a lucky Panzer III shot. Alright, and when this happens, these go away. You don't get to buy these back in the recruitment phase. So you have to keep these separate during your campaign to make sure that you're not buying them. Again, you can buy another half track and get another commander with it, but you can't buy that one. God, that sucked. Okay, yeah, that happened because I was on film, and that was my only transport. So my gun is where it's at. My ATG gun. Well, no, it has a speed of 1, so it can move on its own, but I liked having it hooked up to the half track because the half track can move it faster. Alright, what are we going to do here, Gimpy? Well, let's start here. We'll work our way left to right as I did with them. We'll pull these off since they've already activated. We'll start with my rifle team. All right, my rifle team has an HE value of 5, and they're at range 0, and they have not moved, so they have no movement penalty. And yeah, well, they have a -2 when attacking when moving, so that would have been even worse. And they gain a stress if they attack and move. So let's take and do that, and I gain my move and attack penalty at range 0. Well, that's actually good. My move and attack penalty is 2. So with his HE value of 5, that comes down to a 3. So 3 or better to hit, and they're both rifle teams, so it doesn't matter. We'll take and attack that leftmost rifle team here. All right, we got 2 hits. Now we're going to roll defense for the enemy, just like we rolled defense for us. This rifle team, you can see their defense number is a 3. They are also in heavy cover, so their defense value is going to be 5. So unfortunately, 5 or under is going to save him from a hit, but I only need 1 to go through. Yep, I'm dropping my damn dice. I'm all flustered over my hat. There we go. Both of them went through. Yeah. Oh, well, I was almost cussing. I keep trying to restrain myself because I don't want to, get known for having a foul mouth on YouTube, even though I've got a real foul mouth in real life. I mean, I served in the Marines. That's what we do, That's not what all of us do. There was one guy I served, set of brothers I served with, the most conservative Christian guys you'd ever met. They were both virgins. They wouldn't cuss. They wouldn't drink. They wouldn't anything. I mean, tough SOBs. I mean, girls threw themselves at these guys because they were ripped with 6-packs. And, I mean, come on, they were gorgeous. I would make out with them. I'm not even gay. And I just wanted the girls that were just falling off of these guys. But they're both happily married now, doing their own thing. All right, sorry about the rant. Okay. He's done. He killed him. 9-12. He's going to attack. And let's see. My AT team has a range of 0 to 1. He can attack this armored car, and he has a better chance of doing damage to this armored car than he does to this AT team because, it's a 7 or better to hit against the rifles, but it's a 6 or better to hit against the armored car because I would get a +1 for my HE attack since he's in this hex. But this armored car is a bigger threat, so I'm going to go after him. 6 or better to hit him, and yeah, it's no modifiers. Just the defensive modifier for him. I only need 1 to go through, though. All right, come on. Roll high now for me. No! 44. Wah, wah, wah. Okay, that's done. Well, it seems to be working out okay letting the enemy come at me. I've killed off 1 of theirs, and they've killed off, 2 of mine, a half-track and a commander. Yeah, this is going real good, Gimpy. Good idea. Let's see here. Going across. I decide to stay put. Where am I going to fire? I guess I really should just start putting all my fire towards this tank over here. Damn, I'm probably going to have to break this into a couple of videos because I'm already at 20 minutes here. Sorry, guys. It'll be a part 3 to finish up the combat and cover the end of round stuff. But we'll get ourselves another round in. Okay, so my 2 Stuarts here and my M3 Lee, they all have a shot, but they'd be firing at range 2, which means a -1 penalty. So that's going to be 8s across the board to hit. But I only need 1 to go through to kill that tank. All right. Well, I've got my ATG too to fire. Yeah, I'll tell you what. Let's fire the ATG first. Because does he have a line of sight? The ATG traces it. Yeah, the ATG has a line of sight over here to this guy as well. 1, 2, 3. Oh, crap. Looking at it, the Well, that armor car is less of a threat than that. So yeah, I'm going to take my best shot at that Panzer III because he's the biggest threat. So range 2 means -1. So we're firing our Mark 1 ATG, the 57 mil. His AP rating is a 6. It's going to be subtracting 1, so it's going to be a 7 or better to take and hit this guy. And since he's in low cover, it's going to be a 4 for his defense. All right, come on. Daddy needs a new pair of blown up Germans. 7 or better. And 9. Okay, I'll take that. Sorry for yelling. I thought it was 6 for a sec. I was going to be real upset. Okay. All right, come on. I need a 5 or higher. That's all Gimpy needs. 1 is not 5 or higher. Son of a crap. Okay. The dice gods are having good chuckle at old Gimpy today. All right, so first tank's going here. It's going to be tank number 4, one of our stewards. It's going to be an 8 or better to take and hit. I really wanted to take and get in there and get into that cover. I would do better if I had gotten in there, but since they got to have one turn without me being able to attack, I hung back and it left me without any type of cover for my tanks. I've got to take and get at least this tank taken out before these start moving, because if I do, I can slam these tanks forward and get into this position to start firing in on these guys as they come down. Okay, first one, I need 8s or higher. 7 and 2, that's nothing. So first tank whiff. Number 4 here, mark him. Second tank is the same stats because it's another Stewart. Come on, here we go. Oh, wait. Yeah, his was 0. Okay, we're going to take and move that over because I got so distracted I forgot about my modifier for the range for the commander on my ATG and my first one. So we'll say the first shot was with the 05 instead of the 04 because he doesn't have any plus modifiers from the commander, but this one does. See, he gets a +2. So instead of an 8, he needs a 6. And I wish I remember what I had rolled on that. I think the ATG got a 7. I might re-roll just one dice for that ATG because I forgot what he rolled. No, you know what? I forgot, so that's on me. Gimpy's just going to have to eat it. So, second M4 Stewart, his commander is giving him a +2 bonus. So, let's take and roll that off. Look at me, I'm screwing myself over by not remembering my bonuses because I'm entertaining myself by talking to you guys. Alright, here we go. 8. Okay, we got 1 hit. That's good. Would that be 5? No, that's not going to work. Okay, 1 hit, and I need a 5 or better to kill him. Come on, 5 or better. 7. Bam! Just like that. We have ourselves a dead Panzer III, which means half of their strongest stuff is off the board. They've got 2 Panzer IIIs, and that's what I need taken down. So I've got my last guy here left to attack. Damn, I swear I probably got a hit with that ATG and I just forgot about it. Or I forgot about that +1 that I had there. It's alright though. Now I've got another +2 attack with this M3. 1, 2, 3. So he's out of range here. But he does have range there. Let's see here. What are we going to attack? Probably just going to have to be one of these machine gun teams because I don't have range on anything else. But my HE is not that good. Alright, so since he has a +2 modifier for his commander and he's got a -1 for the range 2, he's going to take and need a 7 or better for his HE attack against one of these guys. And M3 Grant, if you guys haven't seen one or played World of Tanks to know what the deal is, the reason it's got like that little stack of guns going up it is it had a turret in, or it had a cannon not in the turret but down in the hull of the tank itself, and it had a little sponson that would turn it, pivot a little bit, but it wasn't in the turret per se to be able to have 360-degree fire. So it could only really fire more like a tank destroyer, like a Stug or a Hetzer or something like that. The cannon that was actually on the top, I think, was like a 37 mil anti-personnel grenade cannon, something like that, and then of course like a 50 cal up top. Anyway, just a little history for it. So we need a 7 or better to hit one of these guys. See if we can take out one of their MG teams. Although I'm not overly worried now because this is all armor with the exception of my anti-tank gun here. So these guys can't do anything to what I've got over here, and I can pivot this force over in this direction and start worrying about their armored cars and last tank. All right. Let's see, we got an 8 and a 7. So actually, that's both hits. That's good. Which means they need 4 or higher to kill him. Both of them killed him, so he would have been dead. I was going to mark him as done. Look at that. All right, so we've got him down. That's actually not too bad. We killed 2 infantry teams. One's worth 2 and a tank. So we've killed off 6 points worth of their equipment at this point, and they have, that's 2, 3, 5, 6, 7, 9, 12 points left. That's not bad actually, because if I kill any 2 counters that they have on the board or their last panzer, they're knocked down to half strength battalion. At that point, they would roll over here on their tactical movement. It's going to be -2 when they start doing that. I think I might be able to pull this one out. I wasn't feeling too good about it when they wiped out my half track right off the board, but this round kind of turned things around for me. All right, so we're going to take and move the turn tracker up so I remember which turn we're at, and I'll go ahead and pause here because I'm probably approaching around 45 minutes and I don't want to have this segment of the video taking like hours. Next video, we'll pick up where we're at, and Gimpy will make sure he's paying attention to his damn commander card so I'm not handicapping myself. At least I only cost myself like 1 hit. Yeah, I didn't have to worry about it too bad. But we'll pick up with the rest of the match. We have possibly 3 more turns, 4 more turns, depending on how things go here. I'll probably, if things keep going this direction, get this battalion destroyed before we get up to the final turn, which will actually be turn 6, since I drew that event during turn 1, or the pre-combat phase that gave me an extra turn for combat. After that, we'll take and go over briefly the end of combat steps of moving the battalions up here, how to buy other guys, repair, things like that, your bookkeeping type stuff. I'm not going to go wholly in depth on that because that's going to be game dependent on whoever's playing. Anyway, you guys make sure and comment if you're interested in winning the game, and I will see you guys in the next video.